As a 47-year-old divorced woman who is child-free by choice, I thought it would be helpful for other women to share about my own journey and how I got there. Now, growing up, I was never one of those kids that like adored younger kids or babies. I mean, I could appreciate them, but I never felt this longing to like spend every minute with them. I was never like that kid that always wanted to babysit. I was never like the baby monster, anxiously awaiting the day I could have my own. In my 20s, I started dating a guy that was actually 6 years older than me. So I was seeing, his friends, his older cousins, his brother, they were beginning to have children. And let me tell you, the realities did not look fun. And what's strange is it's a reality that isn't widely talked about. I mean, at best in movies and in TV shows, like the difficulties are shown in like this cutesy, haha, funny way. But our culture, represents parenthood as this really noble, soul-satisfying endeavor. So when people don't have that same experience, I think a lot of them feel shame around that, and that keeps them quiet. But like I saw it and I felt it, that strain and contempt it injects into marriages. I saw the lasting effects on women's bodies, and I heard the conversations about it. I deeply understood that parenthood irrevocably changes your life in a way you cannot control. Because now there's this tiny human that comes first 24/7. And I got to thinking, I don't think I want to do this. In my late 20s, I split up from that boyfriend and I was out there dating, and I was open to the idea of having kids. I mean, if I would have met a guy who really wanted kids and I was really in love with him, I think I could have been talked into it. But in a few short months, I would meet a guy who later became my husband, and he actually had kids from his first marriage. They were teenagers, so he didn't want any more kids. And then I entered into a world of other people who had kids that were older, like late elementary school to teenagers. And I saw that it actually doesn't get easier when they get older. In fact, it's the opposite, because by that time, that's when the strain of parenthood had destroyed so many marriages. And now people are navigating single parenthood and dating or remarrying. And I can't tell you, honestly, how many times people told me, it's really smart that you're not having children. I can't tell you how many people freely admitted to me that they actually regretted having children. They loved their kids, but they hated their lives as a parent. They loved their kids, but there were so many things they wish they had known going into it and done differently, namely, marry differently. In the time that I was married to my ex, I saw a lot of parents celebrate their kids, but I also saw a lot of parents bury their kids. I saw that parenting doesn't end at 18, and you still feel that moment of panic anytime you get a late night phone call. I now know women years later that are dealing with health complications from pregnancy, and it's all very common stuff. I would never ever judge anyone else's decision to have kids, but for me, I'm very secure in the decision I made to not have kids.